Deep within the wilderness, where human presence is rare, a terrifying force lurks. Bears, majestic yet unpredictable, roam these lands as nature's most fearsome predators. What would you do if you found yourself face to face with such a beast? These 6 gripping stories of bear attacks reveal the raw fear and primal survival instincts unleashed in the face of deadly danger. Each tale offers unique encounters and shocking twists, drawing you into a world where the line between life and death is razor thin. So join us in this video as we cover 6 disturbing bear attack cases. In the summer of 2023, the Peterson family decided to embark on a much-anticipated camping trip to Glacier National Park in Montana. The family consisted of Thomas Peterson, a 45-year-old schoolteacher, his wife Laura, a 42-year-old nurse, and their 2 children, 12-year-old Emily and 9-year-old Jake. Thomas and Laura loved the outdoors and had often taken their kids on hiking and camping trips. This time they chose Glacier National Park for its stunning landscapes and tranquil lakes. They arrived at the park on a bright sunny afternoon. The drive through the park's winding roads revealed breathtaking views of towering mountains, dense forests, and crystal-clear lakes. The Petersons found a picturesque campsite near a serene lake surrounded by tall pine trees. The location seemed perfect for their adventure. The air was fresh and the only sounds were the chirping of birds and the gentle rustling of leaves. Thomas and Jake pitched the tent while Laura and Emily unpacked their supplies. They had planned a week-long stay and brought everything they needed: sleeping bags, cooking gear, food, and an emergency satellite phone for safety. That evening, they gathered around a campfire, roasting marshmallows and telling stories. As darkness fell, the family marveled at the starry sky, enjoying the peace and beauty of nature. The next day was filled with hiking and exploring. They followed trails that led to scenic viewpoints, took pictures of wildflowers, and even spotted a family of deer grazing in a meadow. By evening, they returned to their campsite, tired but happy. Thomas prepared a hearty dinner of grilled fish and vegetables, filling the air with a delicious aroma. As night settled in, they cleaned up their campsite and stored their food in a cooler. They made sure to follow all the safety guidelines provided by the park, including keeping the cooler away from the tent. Feeling secure, the Petersons settled into their sleeping bags, ready for another day of adventure. Around midnight, the tranquil atmosphere was shattered by a loud rustling noise outside the tent. Thomas woke up and listened intently. The sound grew louder, and he realized it was coming from the direction of their cooler. He quietly unzipped the tent and peered outside, his heart pounding. In the dim light, he saw a massive grizzly bear rummaging through their supplies. Thomas's initial shock quickly turned to fear as the bear's head lifted, catching the scent of their earlier dinner. The bear, drawn by the lingering smell, began moving closer to the tent. Thomas whispered to Laura, waking her up and alerting her to the danger. She immediately woke the children, instructing them to stay quiet and still. Suddenly, the bear let out a deep growl and charged toward the tent. Thomas stepped out, trying to distract the bear and lead it away from his family. The grizzly, however, swiped at Thomas with its powerful paw, knocking him to the ground. He screamed in pain as the bear's claws tore into his shoulder. Laura and the children watched in horror, but Laura quickly gathered her wits. She grabbed the canister of bear spray they had brought for emergencies and, with trembling hands, aimed it at the bear. She sprayed a strong burst directly into the bear's face. The bear roared and stumbled back, momentarily blinded and disoriented by the spray. Emily and Jake, following their mother's instructions, began making loud noises by banging pots and pans together. The combination of the bear spray and the loud clanging confused and frightened the bear. It hesitated for a moment before turning and lumbering away into the forest, leaving a trail of destruction behind. Laura rushed to Thomas's side. His injuries were severe and he was bleeding heavily. She knew they had to act fast. Emily grabbed the first aid kit while Jake held the emergency satellite phone, ready to call for help. Laura applied pressure to Thomas's wounds, trying to stop the bleeding, as she instructed Jake to make the emergency call. Jake's hands shook as he dialed the emergency number on the satellite phone. The urgency of the situation hit him hard, but he knew he had to stay calm. The call connected, and he quickly relayed their location and the severity of his father's injuries to the park rangers. Meanwhile, Laura continued to provide first aid to Thomas, using everything in their kit to stabilize him as best as she could. Emily held a flashlight, shining it on her father so Laura could see what she was doing. The bear's attack had left deep gashes on Thomas's shoulder and side. Laura's training as a nurse proved invaluable as she cleaned and dressed the wounds, all while keeping a close eye on his vital signs. She kept talking to Thomas, encouraging him to stay awake and alert. The rangers assured Jake that help was on the way. He relayed this information to Laura, who nodded, her focus unwavering. They all knew the remote location of their campsite meant it would take some time for the rangers to arrive. Minutes felt like hours as they waited in the darkness, listening for any signs of the bear's return. Finally, the sound of approaching vehicles broke the tense silence. Bright headlights cut through the night, and the park rangers arrived in a convoy of ATVs. The lead ranger, a seasoned veteran named Mike, quickly assessed the situation and took over from Laura. They moved Thomas onto a stretcher with great care, ensuring not to aggravate his injuries further. The rangers commended the family for their quick thinking and effective use of bear spray and loud noises to scare off the bear. The team worked efficiently, administering more advanced medical care to Thomas as they prepared him for transport to the nearest hospital. Laura and the children were escorted to one of the ATVs. Emily and Jake clung to their mother, shaken but relieved that help had arrived. The ride back through the dark forest seemed endless, but the presence of the rangers provided a sense of safety. At the hospital, Thomas was rushed into surgery. The doctors worked diligently to repair the damage caused by the bear's claws. Laura stayed by his side, offering comfort and support as much as she could. After several hours, the surgeon emerged with news that Thomas had pulled through the surgery and was expected to make a full recovery. The relief that washed over Laura was immense. She hugged her children tightly, tears of gratitude streaming down her face. The ordeal had been terrifying, but they had managed to get through it together. In the days that followed, Thomas's condition steadily improved. The family stayed in a nearby lodge while he recuperated, supported by the park rangers and the hospital staff. The incident prompted a thorough review of their camping practices. The rangers educated them on the importance of proper food storage and other safety measures to prevent such encounters in the future. Thomas's near-death experience had a profound impact on the family. They realized the importance of preparedness and respecting wildlife. Their story served as a cautionary tale for other campers in the park, highlighting the need for vigilance and safety. The Petersons were grateful for the quick response of the park rangers and the medical team that saved Thomas's life. When Thomas was finally discharged from the hospital, the family returned home with a newfound appreciation for life and each other. They continued to enjoy outdoor adventures, but with a deeper understanding of the risks and the precautions necessary to stay safe. The memory of their harrowing night in Glacier National Park remained with them, a reminder of the power and unpredictability of nature. On June 15, 2022, a group of friends embarked on an adventurous trip to the remote Alaskan wilderness. The group consisted of 4 close friends: Alex Thompson, Sarah Mitchell, David Clark, and Lisa Carter. They had known each other since college, where they bonded over their shared love for nature and outdoor activities. Over the years, they had gone on numerous hiking and camping trips together, but this expedition to Alaska was their most ambitious yet. The idea for the trip began during one of their regular weekend hikes in the nearby mountains. Alex, an avid fisherman, had always dreamed of fishing in Alaska's pristine rivers. Sarah, a wildlife photographer, was eager to capture the untouched beauty of the Alaskan landscape. David, a survival enthusiast, saw it as an opportunity to test his skills, while Lisa, a writer, hoped to gather material for her travel blog. After months of planning, they finally set off on their journey. They flew into Anchorage, then took a small charter plane to a remote area near the Yukon River. The pilot dropped them off, promising to return in a week. The friends were excited and prepared, equipped with all necessary gear, including tents, fishing equipment, bear spray, and an emergency satellite phone. They spent their days hiking and fishing, marveling at the vast, unspoiled wilderness around them. The river teemed with fish, and they enjoyed fresh catches for their meals. Sarah captured stunning photographs of the landscape and wildlife, while Lisa jotted down notes for her blog. Each evening, they gathered around a campfire, sharing stories and laughter under the endless twilight of the Alaskan summer. On their 4th night, they set up camp near a bend in the river. The spot was picturesque, with the sound of rushing water providing a soothing backdrop. They grilled their latest catch, enjoying a hearty meal before retiring to their tent. Unbeknownst to them, the scent of the fish had attracted an unwelcome visitor. Around midnight, a loud snuffling noise woke Alex. He sat up, heart pounding, and listened. The sound grew louder, and the tent shook slightly. He realized with a jolt of fear that a massive brown bear was outside, drawn by the smell of their fish. Alex quickly woke the others, whispering the danger. The bear, emboldened by the scent, began pawing at the tent. Panic surged through the group as the bear's powerful claws ripped through the fabric. David, the closest to the tear, was struck by the bear's claws, suffering a severe injury to his leg. The pain was excruciating, but he managed to stay quiet, knowing any noise could provoke the bear further. Sarah grabbed a canister of bear spray while Lisa reached for an emergency flare. Alex helped David move away from the tent, trying to shield him from further harm. Sarah aimed the bear spray at the bear's face, unleashing a strong burst. Simultaneously, Lisa ignited the flare, waving it to create bright, startling light and noise. The combined effect of the bear spray and flare startled the bear. It roared in confusion, shaking its head and backing away. Sarah continued to spray while Lisa kept the flare burning. The bear, disoriented and agitated, eventually retreated into the darkness, leaving a trail of destruction behind. With the immediate danger gone, the friends turned their attention to David. His leg was bleeding profusely, and they needed to act fast. Alex and Lisa used their first aid kit to clean and bandage the wound as best as they could. Sarah grabbed the satellite phone and called for emergency help, relaying their coordinates and the severity of David's injury. Sarah's call for help was answered promptly, and the rescue team assured her they would dispatch a helicopter at first light. The group knew they had several hours to wait before help would arrive. They needed to keep David stable and comfortable throughout the night. Alex and Lisa worked tirelessly to secure David's injury. They elevated his leg to reduce the swelling and used additional bandages to control the bleeding. Sarah monitored his condition, making sure he remained conscious and responsive. Despite the pain, David managed to stay awake, encouraged by his friends' efforts. The night was long and filled with tension. The sounds of the wilderness, which had once seemed so peaceful, now felt menacing. The friends took turns keeping watch, alert for any signs of the bear's return. Their campfire, kept burning through the night, provided some comfort and deterred other wildlife. As dawn approached, the distant hum of helicopter blades brought a wave of relief. The rescue team arrived swiftly, landing in a nearby clearing. The medics assessed David's condition, commending the group's first aid efforts. They carefully transferred David onto a stretcher and carried him to the helicopter. The helicopter ride to the nearest hospital was tense but hopeful. The medics provided further treatment to David's leg, assuring him that he would receive the necessary care upon arrival. At the hospital, doctors quickly took over, rushing David into surgery to repair the damage caused by the bear's claws. The wait was agonizing for Alex, Sarah, and Lisa, but they found solace in knowing David was in capable hands. They stayed by his side, ready to offer their support when he woke up. After several hours, the surgeon emerged with good news. David had made it through the surgery and was expected to recover fully. The friends' relief was palpable. They were allowed to see David, who was groggy but in good spirits. His leg was heavily bandaged, and he would need time to heal, but he was grateful for the care he received. The ordeal left a lasting impact on the group. They realized the importance of being prepared for the unexpected dangers of the wilderness. The incident prompted them to reevaluate their camping practices, particularly regarding food storage and safety measures. They also made a pact to always have multiple safety devices and to keep their emergency phone easily accessible. The park rangers and medical staff praised the friends for their quick thinking and teamwork. The incident served as a reminder of the unpredictable nature of wildlife encounters and the importance of preparation. The friends shared their story, hoping to educate others and prevent similar incidents. Once David was fully healed, the friends planned a safer, more controlled outdoor trip. They chose a location with less risk and more resources nearby, ensuring they could still enjoy their love for nature while minimizing danger. The memory of their Alaskan ordeal stayed with them, a testament to their resilience and the strength of their friendship. On August the 5th, 2021, two biologists, Dr. Serene Carter and Dr. John Williams, set out on an expedition to a remote island off the coast of Newfoundland. Serene, a marine biologist, had dedicated her career to studying seabirds, particularly puffins. Her passion for these colorful birds had taken her to various remote locations around the world. John, an ecologist, was equally passionate about wildlife and environmental conservation. He had spent years researching the impact of climate change on various animal species. The two had met at a conference 5 years ago and had since collaborated on several projects, forming a strong professional bond. This particular expedition aimed to study the breeding habits of puffins on the isolated island. The location was perfect for their research, offering a unique opportunity to observe these birds in their natural habitat. They arrived on the island with all the necessary equipment, including tents, research tools, food supplies, and a satellite phone for emergencies. The island was serene, with rugged cliffs, lush greenery, and the sound of waves crashing against the shore. After setting up their camp near a cliffside with a clear view of the puffin colonies, Serene and John began their research. The days were spent observing and recording data, while the evenings were filled with discussions about their findings and the beauty of their surroundings. They were thrilled to see puffins up close, capturing photographs and noting their behaviors. One evening, after a productive day of research, they prepared a simple meal and discussed their plans for the next day's observations. As night fell, they secured their food supplies in airtight containers to avoid attracting wildlife. Confident in their preparations, they retired to their tents, ready for another day of discovery. In the middle of the night, a loud rustling noise woke Serene. At first, she thought it was the wind, but the sound grew louder and more deliberate. She unzipped her tent slightly and peeked outside. To her shock, she saw a large black bear rummaging through their camp. The bear, likely displaced by environmental changes, was searching for food. Serene quickly woke John, and the two of them assessed the situation with growing concern. The bear, drawn by the scent of their supplies, began moving towards the tents. Serene and John knew they had to act fast to avoid a dangerous encounter. John grabbed the bear spray while Serene prepared to make noise using pots and pans. The bear, sensing their presence, let out a low growl and advanced towards Serene's tent. Panic surged through her, but she knew she had to stay calm and follow their safety protocols. As the bear approached, John stepped out of his tent and sprayed a strong burst of bear spray towards the animal. Simultaneously, Serene clanged the pots together, creating a loud and startling noise. The bear hesitated, momentarily blinded and confused by the spray. However, before retreating, it lashed out, striking John with its powerful paw. He fell back, clutching his arm in pain. Serene continued to make noise, and the bear finally retreated into the darkness, leaving a trail of chaos in its wake. With the immediate danger gone, Serene rushed to John's side. His arm was badly injured, and he was bleeding. They knew they had to act quickly to prevent infection and further complications. Serene used their first aid kit to clean and bandage John's wounds, her hands shaking but determined. Realizing the severity of the situation, Serene grabbed the satellite phone and called for help. She provided their coordinates and explained the urgency of John's condition. The response was reassuring, and they were told that a rescue boat would arrive as soon as possible. They prepared for a long night of waiting, hoping the help would arrive in time. Serene stayed by John's side, monitoring his condition and ensuring he remained stable. The night was long and filled with tension, the darkness surrounding them adding to their anxiety. Despite his pain, John remained conscious, and his determination to stay alert was evident. As dawn broke, the sound of an approaching boat provided a glimmer of hope. The rescue team arrived quickly, navigating the rocky shore with practiced ease. They assessed John's injuries and commended Serene for her effective first aid efforts. Carefully, they moved John onto a stretcher and carried him to the boat. The journey to the mainland was swift. The rescue team continued to provide medical care to John, ensuring his comfort and stability. Serene watched over him, relieved that help had arrived, but worried about his condition. They reached the hospital, where doctors immediately took over, rushing John into the emergency room for further treatment. The medical team worked diligently, and after several hours, they informed Serene that John would recover. His injuries were severe but not life-threatening, and he would need time and care to heal fully. Serene felt a wave of relief, knowing her friend was in good hands. The incident underscored the unpredictability and danger of wildlife encounters, especially in remote areas. Serene and John's experience highlighted the importance of being prepared and vigilant. The attack was a stark reminder of how environmental changes were affecting animal behavior, forcing creatures like the bear to venture into human campsites in search of food. As John recovered, the biologists reflected on their experience. They realized the need to adapt their fieldwork practices, ensuring they were better prepared for such emergencies in the future. Their bond was strengthened by the ordeal, and they continued their research with a renewed sense of purpose and caution, committed to understanding and protecting the delicate balance of nature. On August 10, 2011, Walter Weber, a 30-year-old solo traveler, set out on an adventure through the picturesque trails of the Swiss Alps. Walter, a software engineer from Zurich, had always loved nature and the mountains. He often spent his weekends hiking and camping in various parts of Switzerland. This trip to the Swiss Alps was something he had planned for months, a much-needed escape from his busy work life. Walter came from a close-knit family. His parents, Hans and Ingrid Weber, had always encouraged his love for the outdoors. They had taken him on his first hike when he was just 5 years old, and since then his passion for nature had only grown. His younger sister, Lena, often joined him on his hikes, sharing his enthusiasm for adventure. However, this time Walter decided to go alone, seeking solitude and a deeper connection with nature. The night before his departure, the family gathered for dinner at their home in Zurich. It was a warm summer evening, and the table was filled with their favorite dishes. As they ate, they talked about Walter's upcoming trip. Hans reminded Walter to be cautious and well-prepared, while Ingrid expressed her usual motherly concern. Lena, though envious of his journey, wished him luck and promised to follow his updates closely. After dinner, Walter double-checked his gear. He packed his tent, sleeping bag, food supplies, and essential safety equipment, including a trekking pole, bear spray, and an emergency beacon. He knew the importance of being prepared, especially when hiking alone in remote areas. Satisfied with his preparations, he went to bed early, excited for the adventure ahead. The next morning, Walter set off for the Swiss Alps. He took a train to a small village at the foot of the mountains where he began his hike. The trail was beautiful, winding through dense forests, open meadows, and along clear streams. The air was crisp and fresh, and the scenery was breathtaking. Walter felt a profound sense of peace as he immersed himself in the natural beauty around him. After a day of hiking, Walter found a serene meadow to set up his camp. The spot was perfect, with a stunning view of the mountains and a nearby stream for water. He pitched his tent, gathered some firewood, and prepared his dinner. As the sun set, he enjoyed his meal, feeling content and relaxed. The stars twinkled brightly in the clear night sky, and Walter felt grateful for the opportunity to experience such tranquility. In the early morning, Walter woke up to the sound of birds singing. He decided to prepare a hearty breakfast to fuel him for the day's hike. The smell of cooking bacon and eggs filled the air. Unbeknownst to him, this aroma attracted a large brown bear lurking nearby. The bear, drawn by the scent of food, approached Walter's campsite silently. Suddenly, Walter heard a rustling sound and turned to see the bear emerging from the bushes. His heart pounded in his chest as he realized the danger he was in. The bear, sensing food, charged towards him. Walter grabbed his trekking pole and bear spray, ready to defend himself. The bear swiped at him with its powerful paw, leaving deep wounds on his arm and side. Despite the pain, Walter fought back with all his strength. He sprayed the bear in the face, causing it to recoil. He used his trekking pole to create distance, desperately trying to fend off the attack. The bear, momentarily blinded and confused, retreated a few steps. Walter seized the opportunity to escape, stumbling away from the campsite as quickly as he could. Breathing heavily and in severe pain, Walter activated his emergency beacon. He knew he needed help fast. The beacon sent a distress signal with his location to the local rescue teams. Walter found a safe spot and waited, hoping the rescue team would arrive soon. The minutes felt like hours as he tried to stay calm and focused despite his injuries. Walter waited anxiously, every second feeling like an eternity. His breathing was labored, and he could feel the pain from his wounds intensifying. Despite the agony, he tried to stay conscious and alert, knowing that help was on the way. The clear sky above and the majestic mountains around him seemed to mock his suffering, but he remained focused on survival. After what felt like a lifetime, the sound of helicopter blades broke the silence. The local rescue team had received his distress signal and pinpointed his location. The helicopter landed in a nearby clearing and medics rushed to Walter's side. They quickly assessed his injuries, providing immediate first aid to stabilize him before carefully transporting him to the helicopter. The flight to the nearest hospital was swift. The medics continued to treat Walter, ensuring his condition remained stable. Upon arrival, doctors took over, rushing him into the emergency room for further treatment. The medical team worked efficiently, cleaning and stitching his wounds, administering antibiotics, and monitoring his vital signs. The incident left a significant mark on Walter. The reality of the danger he had faced and the close call with the bear underscored the unpredictability of wildlife encounters. His experience highlighted the importance of being well prepared and aware of one's surroundings, especially in remote areas. As Walter recovered, the story of his ordeal spread through local news and outdoor enthusiast communities. His encounter with the bear led to increased awareness about the presence of bears in the Swiss Alps. Authorities and outdoor organizations began emphasizing the necessity of carrying proper deterrence and educating hikers on how to handle wildlife encounters. Walter's bravery and quick actions, along with the prompt response of the rescue team, ultimately saved his life. On November 18, 2019, a group of adventurers set out on a challenging trek through the rugged terrain of the Western Ghats in India. The team consisted of 5 friends: Javier Martinez, Naomi Lopez, Theodore Rivera, Denisa Torres, and Alexandra Gutierrez. They had meticulously planned this expedition for over a year, eager to explore the remote and breathtaking landscapes of southern India. Each member brought a unique set of skills and a shared passion for adventure. Javier, an experienced mountaineer and the unofficial leader of the group, had scaled some of the highest peaks in the Himalayas. Naomi, a wildlife biologist specializing in Asian ecosystems, provided valuable insights into local wildlife. Theodore, a paramedic, ensured the team was prepared for medical emergencies. Denisa, a talented photographer, aimed to capture the natural beauty of the Western Ghats, while Alexandra, an outdoor enthusiast with navigation skills, kept the group on course. Their families, supportive yet concerned about the challenges ahead, hosted a farewell dinner filled with a mix of excitement and caution. During the gathering, the group reassured their loved ones with detailed safety plans, including bear spray, emergency beacons, and a satellite phone. Upon arriving in the Western Ghats, they were captivated by the dense forests, rolling hills, and diverse wildlife. Starting their trek from a small village nestled in the foothills, they aimed to explore some of the most secluded areas of the region. By the 5th day of their trek, the group decided to take a break near a serene meadow surrounded by wildflowers and the sound of a nearby stream. As they settled in for lunch, Naomi noticed movement in the nearby bushes. At first, she thought it might be a deer, but soon realized it was a hungry sloth bear drawn by the scent of their food. The bear approached cautiously at first, then more boldly, its interest piqued by the potential meal. Without warning, the bear charged towards Theodore, who was closest to the food supplies. The sudden attack knocked him to the ground, causing serious injuries. In a flash, Javier grabbed the bear spray and unleashed a burst at the charging bear, while Alexandra and Denisa made loud noises by banging their trekking poles and cookware together to intimidate the bear. Startled, and momentarily disoriented by the spray and the sudden commotion, the bear hesitated before retreating back into the cover of the forest. With the immediate danger averted, the group quickly turned their attention to Theodore. Javier and Naomi, drawing upon their medical skills, assessed and treated his wounds using supplies from their well-stocked first aid kit. Realizing Theodore needed urgent medical attention, they decided to head for the nearest ranger station, located several miles away. They efficiently packed up their camp, ensuring they left no trace behind. Javier and Alexandra supported Theodore, navigating the challenging terrain, while Denisa and Naomi scouted ahead to identify the safest and quickest route. The journey to the ranger station was grueling. The rugged terrain slowed their progress, compounded by Theodore's injuries. Despite the challenges, the group maintained their composure and teamwork, communicating constantly to ensure everyone was supported and informed. Hours later, they finally reached the ranger station, a welcome sight amid the wilderness. Naomi immediately used their satellite phone to request a medical evacuation, stressing the urgency of Theodore's condition to the rangers. Responding swiftly, the rangers provided crucial first aid to stabilize Theodore while they awaited the arrival of the evacuation helicopter. The group's quick actions and preparation proved essential in ensuring Theodore remained stable until help arrived. When the helicopter landed in a nearby clearing, relief washed over Javier, Naomi, Denisa, and Alexandra. Watching as Theodore was carefully loaded aboard, they felt a mix of exhaustion and gratitude. Their friend was now on his way to receive the advanced medical care he urgently needed, thanks to their preparedness and effective response in a critical situation. In the aftermath of the incident, Theodore received the necessary medical treatment, and his condition gradually improved. The experience served as a powerful reminder of the unpredictable nature of wildlife encounters and reinforced the importance of thorough preparation, including carrying bear deterrents and emergency communication devices when exploring remote and wild environments like the Western Ghats. On September 10, 2023, a group of college friends embarked on a much-anticipated weekend getaway to Yosemite National Park. The group included 5 friends: Parker Thompson, Bianca Lee, Chloe Adams, Kevin Brown, and Amy Martinez. They had met during their freshman year and bonded over their shared love for adventure and the outdoors. Over the years, their friendship had grown stronger, and they often planned trips together to escape the stress of college life. This particular trip to Yosemite was special, as it marked the end of their final exams and the beginning of their last year in college. The idea had come up during one of their late-night study sessions. They all agreed that a trip to the mountains would be the perfect way to relax and recharge. Excited and prepared, they gathered their camping gear, food supplies, and essentials, including bear spray and an emergency satellite phone for safety. They arrived at Yosemite on a sunny Friday afternoon, eager to explore the park's stunning landscapes. After a short hike, they found a beautiful campsite near a peaceful stream. The area was surrounded by towering trees and offered a picturesque view of the mountains. The group quickly set up their tents and began to prepare for a relaxing evening. They grilled burgers and hot dogs, laughing and reminiscing about their college experiences. As the sun set, they sat around the campfire, sharing stories and enjoying the beauty of nature. They made sure to store their food in bear-proof containers, aware of the park's guidelines to prevent attracting wildlife. Feeling confident in their precautions, they settled into their tents for the night, looking forward to the adventures that awaited them the next day. In the early hours of the morning, a rustling noise outside the tents woke Bianca. She listened intently, trying to determine the source of the disturbance. The noise grew louder, and she realized something was moving through their campsite. Peeking out of her tent, she was horrified to see a large black bear rummaging through their belongings. The lingering scent of their dinner had drawn the bear and was now dangerously close. Bianca quickly woke the others, and panic set in as they assessed the situation. The bear, noticing their movement, turned its attention toward the tents. It let out a low growl and began advancing. Parker, who had been closest to the bear, tried to move away, but the bear struck him with its powerful paw, causing him to fall to the ground with a severe injury to his leg. Chloe and Kevin grabbed their bear spray while Amy reached for the emergency satellite phone. Bianca and the others knew they had to act fast to protect themselves and help Parker. Kevin aimed his bear spray at the bear, unleashing a strong burst that hit the bear's face. Simultaneously, Chloe sprayed from another angle, and the combined effort disoriented and scared the bear. The bear roared in confusion and stumbled back, eventually retreating into the forest. With the immediate danger gone, the friends rushed to Parker's side. His leg was bleeding heavily and he was in severe pain. They used their first aid kit to clean and bandage his wounds, working quickly to prevent further blood loss. Amy made the emergency call, providing their location and the details of Parker's injuries to the park rangers. They were told that help was on the way, but the remote location of their campsite meant it would take some time for the rangers to arrive. The group did their best to keep Parker comfortable, reassuring him and keeping him warm. The night felt endless as they waited, the weight of the situation pressing heavily on them. They stayed alert, listening for any signs of the bear's return, but the forest remained quiet. As the friends waited for help to arrive, they focused on keeping Parker stable and as comfortable as possible. Chloe monitored his condition closely, ensuring that his breathing was steady and that he stayed conscious. The first aid they had administered was holding, but they knew that professional medical assistance was urgently needed. The first light of dawn began to creep through the trees, offering a small sense of relief to the anxious group. The sound of footsteps and voices soon followed, and they spotted the park rangers approaching their campsite. The rangers moved quickly, assessing Parker's injuries and commending the friends for their quick and effective response. With careful precision, the rangers lifted Parker onto a stretcher and prepared him for transport. They explained the next steps to the group, emphasizing the importance of getting Parker to a hospital as soon as possible. The friends watched as the rangers carried Parker through the forest to the waiting vehicle, their concern for his well-being evident in their expressions. The ride to the nearest medical facility felt like an eternity. The rangers provided additional care to Parker, ensuring his condition remained stable during the journey. The friends followed closely, anxious but relieved that help had arrived. Upon reaching the hospital, Parker was rushed into the emergency room, where doctors immediately began treating his injuries. While Parker was in surgery, the friends were briefed by the park rangers and hospital staff. The rangers praised their use of bear spray and their adherence to safety protocols, but they also reiterated the importance of proper food storage and heightened awareness in bear country. The incident served as a stark reminder of the potential dangers when precautions are not fully observed. After several hours, the doctors informed the group that Parker's surgery was successful. He would need time to recover, but he was expected to make a full recovery. The friends' relief was palpable as they were finally allowed to see him. Parker was groggy but in good spirits, grateful for their quick actions and support. The ordeal had a profound impact on the group. They realized the importance of respecting wildlife and the need for better preparation when camping in areas known for bear activity. The experience also highlighted the critical role of education and awareness in preventing such incidents. Determined to make a difference, they decided to share their story widely, hoping to educate others and promote safer practices. The park authorities, recognizing the seriousness of the incident, decided to collaborate with the friends to create a comprehensive bear safety campaign. They developed educational materials, including brochures, videos, and social media posts, to inform the public about proper food storage, the use of bear-proof containers, and the importance of bear spray. The friends participated in these efforts, sharing their first-hand experience and emphasizing the need for vigilance and preparedness in bear habitats. As Parker continued his recovery, the group remained united, their bond strengthened by the shared ordeal. They organized talks at their college and community centers, spreading the message of bear safety far and wide. Their story not only educated others, but also served as a reminder of the fragile balance between humans and wildlife in natural settings. Through their efforts, they hoped to prevent future incidents and ensure that everyone could enjoy the beauty of nature safely and responsibly.